This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening, it's The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, and with me tonight is Lavendula. Hello.
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 So, Lavendula.
Lavendula.
Yes.
I was so confident about knowing what this name was that I was thinking of asking you before we started, and I was like, no, I've got it's Lavendula.
Whoops.
And
People say it both ways often, but we call ourselves Lavendula.
Lavendula.
Rolls off the tongue better.
Lavendula. Well, great name. We'll get to the origins of that in a minute. But we like kicking it off with a song, so what have you got for us?
We're going to do a song called Queen Anne's Lace.
Lavendula there with Queen Anne's Lace. Gorgeous song. Thank you for picking that one to kick us off with. Sounds quite melancholy on the surface, and then I started to kind of pick up on the lyrics, and it quite a nice kind of tune. Was that kind of like an intentional thing, or was it actually something maybe a bit darker that I wasn't really picking up on?
Yeah. Queen Anne's Lace is an herb that can be an abortive, and that song's about herbs that are good for reproductive health, and it's kind of like you can't police my garden, dude. Yeah.
Johanna wrote that one.
I see. So it's a bit more of a it's a bit.
It's a protest song.
Yeah, a bit more of a protest song than maybe the surface level lets on to be, and people like myself just go way over my head. So I'm glad you explained it.
Well,
We have
that's a
zines
good
at
thing
our-
about it too.
We have zines at our shows that have all the lyrics and some like information about reproductive health, and so the crowd doesn't have to stay in the dark for too long.
Well, thank you for informing me at least. So first off or second off at this point, could you introduce yourselves as individuals? That'd be great.
I am Johanna Rose, and I play upright bass, and I sing.
I'm Henri June. I play the banjo and sing.
I'm Lilith. I play the guitar and sing, and we all write songs.
It's true.
That's true.
Are we having all three of your songwriting abilities getting showcased this evening? Are we having a mix and
Absolutely.
match?
Yeah, we like to do everything that way.
We're going to do one of each of ours, so that one was Johanna Rose's, and then we'll also be doing a song that we wrote together as well.
Okay, it's like the final kind of flourish. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I read a little bit on your bio before you came in, and your first gig sounded pretty dramatic.
I have to tell this story.
And
Yeah.
on top of that, it also there's a picture that goes with it, which
Our album cover.
the album cover, which was fantastic. I literally shouted to Annie, my partner next to me right here, like from downstairs, like, you gotta come listen to this and also come here tonight because you'll love this. So please tell us the story and tell us about the album cover and the name and all that.
So if you have a 2008 Subaru Outback, there's a part in there that's been recalled for spontaneous combustion. Let me tell you. We were driving to our first gig in two separate vehicles. Yeehaw was in her jam wagon, which is this like giant red van with Wisconsin plates. It's beautiful. But Lily had just gotten her license, and I had a golden Subaru given to me as a congratulations, your divorce gift. And we were driving to this gig that was up by Danville. It was a family reunion for
It was
this.
Amanda Pelkey's family.
Yeah, an Olympic
Olympian.
athlete. We played for two Olympic athletes this weekend.
That summer.
That summer.
That summer, we kept on playing for Olympians.
It was pretty
It was
cool.
weird.
But Lily and I were in my golden divorce wagon, Hilda, and Lily was driving because I didn't feel like it, and the hood started smoking. And I was like, all right, Lily, I maybe should pull over. So she pulls over, and she turns over the ignition so the car is off, and the car goes and starts smoking more, and hot flaming oil starts dripping from the hood of the car. So I said, Lily, take what you can carry and cross the street.
Which was not much, and there was a lot in the car.
There was a lot in the car, and we were like, there was a canoe on
There
that.
was a canoe on top of the car.
It was, I mean,
R.I.P. to the canoe.
nope.
No.
Oh, you guys got that? That was one of the things.
Firefighter
You
came,
Yes.
just happened to be driving down the street.
I mean,
we were
we had
no
no
service.
service.
But there was an out-of-state firefighter, and he and his friends rescued all of our stuff.
And his wife took the picture of us that's our album cover.
And we just sat and watched Hilda be fully incinerated on a beautiful autumn day, smoking cigarettes and listening to Townes Van Zandt on my Bluetooth speaker that had miraculously been rescued.
Yeah.
And that's
We did make the gig, though. We were 3 hours late.
Well done for making the gig. Never gonna let down an Olympian. They wouldn't.
They
Yeah.
paid us extra because
they
they
felt so
understood
bad.
that, the cars randomly incinerating.
And you went the extra mile like they would as well.
Yeah,
you know?
Hilda really did it. But
I've got to ask, okay, so in that situation, which seldom happens to most people, where you are to grab X many of your most precious things, what exactly do you grab?
All of my mom's stuff that's not mine.
I meant kind of specifically in the car, but
Yeah, that was what was
that was in the car.
all my mom's like equipment, clothes. We were not able to salvage some beautiful, like a skunk. There was a skunk fur. That was
I had a
really
skunk
gorgeous.
pelt that was given to me, and I'm a weird bone collector. I don't want to talk about it.
I feel like you ran up the hill and you were clutching like a skull in your Bluetooth speaker.
That
Now,
did happen.
That should have been the album cover right there, actually. That would have been a perfect picture. But I gotta say, that picture was phenomenal. Did you, as soon as it was taken, you're like, okay, this is the album cover now.
No, I just
We
think
can never
when
beat
we
this.
were doing it, it was like obviously, like once we had the songs together, we're like, there's no more momentous an occasion that really describes our band than this image.
A lovely burning pile of steel.
It seems serendipitous, and also almost like kind of closure. The fact that there's a divorce car as well. There seems to be a lot of different
Truly.
universal elements coming together here.
The
Yeah.
band was a kind of a closure band. We were all heartbroken when we came together, and this was very much like a let's replace all the stupid stuff in our life with the best stuff we could possibly imagine.
I do feel if you want to replace a skunk pelt, you could just drive around Burlington for about 15 minutes on any evening and probably come across one.
It's true, but
I'll find one on the way home.
the thing is like a friend of mine made a sweet deal with a trapper, so I didn't have to do any of the nasty getting into the carcass of anything. You know, I just got all of the nice things without any of the skunk blood.
Yeah, the skunk smell.
Yeah.
And this is also when you came up with the name Lavendula. So how did that happen at the same time? There's a lot of momentous things happening at one very small kind of space of time here.
The name was already special to Henri, and I thought of it, and I actually kind of felt bad taking it, but Henri seemed really into it. It felt like it described all of the lovely stuff while also getting kind of the witchy element in there. It's herbal.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
No one knows how to say it.
No one. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, you really tripped me up on that one, I'm going to be honest with you. So that was, how many years ago was that?
Last year.
That was 1 year ago.
We're
8
not.
days
yeah, I
from
think
now.
we're almost a
Or
year
not 8
old.
days, no.
We became a band officially on my husband anniversary. Weirdly enough, we were at the Tunbridge Fair, and we were getting dragged around on one of the little truck wagons, and we were playing
Dirty Old Town.
We were playing Dirty Old Town by the Pogues, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Is this a band?
Is this a band? Also, I got married on this day. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, we took our instruments into the fair, and we made all the money we spent on tickets and some back in like an hour. It was awesome.
And we spent a lot on tickets because I love to ride the rides.
Right.
Even on the
Drag them
Tunbridge Fair, where it famously got really just big pumpkins and
They've got
tractors and-
cows, tractor pulls, cows pulling tractors.
Pig races.
Tractors pulling cows.
everywhere.
too far.
Cows pulling cows, tractors pulling tractors.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
It's
yeah.
really just a big tractor cow gay love fest.
I can
People
see
pulling
why it's-
tractors, pulling cows.
this is why it's a World's Fair. I mean, where else can you see this?
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear another song. So what have you got for us?
Okay, this one's mine. So that one was more of a protest song. This is kind of just more a lament song, but it's on the same topic of reproductive rights, and it's personal experience, and it's my song, and it's called Barely 21.
with Barely 21, another absolute bop. Although a lot more kind of there's I don't know, a bit more of a kick to that one, and obviously you're talking about like a very personal experience. How is that when you get in front of a stage and kind of like retell this? Especially, I mean, two friends by next to you probably helps, but
Yeah, definitely. It helps that I'm not the only one, for sure, and it's easier actually in front of a crowd when I'm playing it like I don't know, just in front of a few people, especially if it's like people who know me. I'm like, oh, I'm talking about people I know. I hope nobody, because I'm talking about myself, and there's other people mentioned in the song. That's always weird, but for the most part, it just feels good to know that I'm talking about it, because the main thing is like nobody talks about this stuff. It's particularly like nobody talks about being pregnant when you don't ultimately have a baby. Like nobody gets to talk about that experience. Nobody talks about the actual process of like losing this part of your body, blood coming out of you, this whole thing, you know. So it feels good to me just to be saying it.
have you had any surprising or eye-opening or unexpected reactions when you've played this in front of people, either sharing or?
It's a pretty new song. The main thing that was surprising is I played it at Radio Bean, and like more than one person came up to me, like my friends and others were just like, that made me cry, and I was not expecting that reaction. I was kind of just, it was nice to hear that it's actually resonating with people. That's cool.
At what point did you decide as a band to start producing zines for your gigs as a part of an educational experience, as well as, you know, just listen to a great
We
band?
never wanted boring merch. We just never wanted standard, like, here's a t-shirt, here's a sticker, here's a patch, just those things. Not to, you know, knock anybody who does that, but we wanted to kind of bring something dynamic to the table. You know, Lily's a visual artist. I make utilitarian crafts out of resin and garbage. And Yeehaw's an amazing broom maker and writer also.
So-
And we all have like really tied personal experiences with reproductive health complications. And, you know, it's something that we know that we don't live on an island in too.
For sure. And I mean, personally, I've never separated my art from activism. Since I started playing in bands, I've always used like the you know, moment that you're behind a microphone to, you know, talk about the real stuff and bring attention to the things that I want, you know, changed in the world.
Is this how you gravitated to folk, or were you playing a lot of folk
I
and
mean,
a lot
born
of
and
politics
raised
and
a
folk?
baby.
So
I picked up right bass when I was 9 years old, and that's kind of like
not the same one, I'm assuming.
no, not this one exactly. But I've had this one for a long, long time. Yeah, so that kind of puts you in the folk realm usually. Though I played it in punk bands when I was younger, a couple of them. You can play this thing in anything.
Yeah, I mean,
But I do feel pigeonholed sometimes, you know. They're just like upright bass. But I love folk and I love country music and I love being part of that tradition and like you can see, I don't know if you saw the back of my bass.
Oh, I did not. Yeah, classic Woody Guthrie
Yeah.
homage.
Yeah, I
This
really
machine
like I really
kills
like
fences.
all of the labor songs and all the songs of various social movements and I love trying to write my own.
Did sorry, I was folk being kind of the kind of a conduit for political songs. Is that how you kind of got your own learning in terms of politics, or was that external?
No, I mean, I think my mom is an activist, and she has been her whole life. And I remember her dragging me out of Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra to go protest George Bush because he was in town in Milwaukee when I was 11. So you know, I've always been a protest baby, and I come from a long line of labor organizers on my father's side then too. So
Nice.
this is kind of what we do. We're just those people.
I'm AFL-CIO myself.
Nice.
How did you three meet? So you guys officially became a band a year ago, so it sounds like you're casually dating as a band.
We were
Prior to that.
polycule.
We're a weird polycule. Or cult or something.
We're definitely a cult.
Yeah.
I remember the very first time I ever saw Johanna. She was playing with my brother, and I looked and I said, "That person was cool. I'm gonna stare at them until they have to meet me." And then the next time, and months down the line, Johanna was like, something the first time we met on Dog River. And I was like, that was not the first time we met. I stared at you at Charlie O's for like an hour. And they came up to me and like, it was like, magnets across the courtyard. Henri and I have known each other for a lot longer. But we only started like really hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
last year.
There's a theory that I met you when
As a
you were
baby.
a baby.
Yeah.
Because your family lived next to my uncle's.
And Johanna
house in
was like
Stannard.
exploring fairy woods with my gay cousin.
I did do that, yeah. That was great.
Wait, you're Milwaukee, but Uncle lived in Vermont and you two are from Vermont? Is the general gist of where I'm getting at here?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but my mom's extended side always lived in Vermont. So I grew up coming to Vermont like every summer and some Christmases, and my grandma's sister had a place on Shadow Lake up in Glover, and so that was always like one of the places we'd go in the summer. And then after I was touring around with different bands, but then the pandemic happened, so my mom had some land in Glover, and I built a treehouse, and now I live in that treehouse, and yeah, that's how we got here.
That was going to be a later question, but you brought it up. So you guys just came out of an album, well, not just came out of an album, you came out of an album in February, first album, I think.
Yes.
Recorded in your treehouse in part. And so must be talking about a fairly sophisticated treehouse, or we still talking about 2 planks of wood and you just really just made the place up?
It's like a tiny house in 3 hemlock trees. So it's pretty. I just did my first winter there. I have a wood stove in my treehouse. And I have electricity, but
Just
I don't
on a
have
bit
water.
of a recipe for disaster, having a wood stove in a treehouse.
It's totally good. It's totally working out. It's good.
And so do all 3 of you live up in the Northeast Kingdom now?
I live in Burlington now. I've been in Montpelier since I was 12, and I finally got free. I'm in Burlington. I'm so happy to be here. But Henry's still in Montpelier.
Stop.
Not to rub it in, Henry. I love Montpelier.
You want to trade places?
Not particularly, no. I go there enough as it is. I know. So you came together about a year ago, officially. You've played for several Olympians since then. It sounds like you just took off immediately. And I don't know if it was the Tunbridge Fair, I don't know if it was Burning Car, but you seem to have already kind of really put yourself on the map.
We have a lot of chemistry.
Tell us the year that you've had.
Oh my gosh.
We went to Alaska.
We went to Alaska, which is where Henry's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the last year, what did we? Okay, so we got
played for
together,
2 Olympians.
Played for a couple Olympians.
We
Actually,
saw
Manny
1
Bucky
car
wasn't there.
burn.
We saw 1 car burn.
Um,
There was a long winter of COVID separation. It was just miserable.
that was hard.
And then we kind of came back together with the determination that we would play the Alaska Folk Fest, which we thought was a long shot. Turned out to be a reality. And so we played some
Yeah.
shows before then and got ourselves there, spent all of our money,
Yes.
completely wowed Juneau. We had them in the palm of our hand.
We had like a 300 body deep show after playing the festival itself in the oldest bar in my hometown. And the Alaskan is a brothel back in the gold panning days,
Yeah.
and you can see evidence of it all across the
Everywhere.
tavern. It's beautiful. It's still got a lot of the old like Victorian architecture. The floors are definitely gonna like fall through one
Yeah.
of these days. We were playing and people were stomping, dancing around. I thought, man, like
This is it.
The building was shaking. My
What a way to go, though, you
I
know,
got
if you're going to
bloody
die that way.
afterwards.
it
My
was.
hand. It had been so long since it had been like since a punk show that I played till my hand got bloody. But that show, my hand was bloody.
Yeah, we had a great time in Alaska.
What a homecoming for you as well. I mean,
After 10
one of the
years,
oldest bars in
11.
Alaska, come back 11 years. And
Yeah, it
it's
was.
like
Yeah,
a prodigal daughter.
it was pretty cool. When I grew up, I was going to the folk festival. That's where all the all the music nerds and the bad kids go, and I'm gonna leave that alone. You can guess which I fell in with.
I figured it's a Venn diagram. It's just you're in the center of it.
That's
Accurate.
yeah, yeah. So I used to go to the folk fest every year, skip school, and that was like kind of the part of the year where you were allowed to do that, so you could go catch all the local. The town blows up to twice the population, and I just grew up being like, I really want to play that festival one day. I don't know how to play anything, but I'm going to do it one day. And then I left when I was 18. There's a lot of like darkness up in Southeast Alaska. There's just a lot of people succumbing to depression. There's a lot of domestic violence and displacement of indigenous families, and it got a little too intense for me, so I had to get out of there. But I knew I'd come back, and when these two consented for some crazy reason to go to the darkest place on earth with me, I said, okay, good, let's spend all our money and buy really poopy plane tickets and go drink hard seltzer in Alaska and get famous, whatever.
And eat Russian dumplings.
Oh my God, we
yeah,
ate
those
so
are
many dumplings.
So now you guys are big in Alaska, at the very
Yeah,
least.
we're
I'm
pretty big in Alaska.
Big in Alaska, big in Vermont, big on TikTok as well. As we were talking about before the show, you guys did blow up a little bit on TikTok, so congratulations for that.
Yeah, big
Thanks,
thank you
Maxine.
to Maxine.
Yeah, shout out to Maxine.
We would love to hear another song. So it's Henry's turn, I guess.
Yeah, this song's about a job I do. Let's do two of each. Two of each. Two
with that. Sorry, Henry, I didn't get the name of the song at the start.
Oh, that song is called Bandage.
Bandage. Do you want to talk about the song a little bit?
Sure. I wrote that song. I got a lot of help from Lily because I couldn't finish it. But I wrote this song about a shadowed sect of labor. My mom was a full-service sex worker. I was conceived in an act of sex work, and she kept that like a tightly locked secret for a lot of my growing up. And I found out as a young adult, and I became a sex worker later myself. I actually run a nonprofit here in Vermont, focusing on labor rights specifically with consensual sex workers and trafficking survivors. We're called Ishtar Collective. You can catch us at the State House next session. And it's just something that's, really close to my heart. It's something that when I first discovered it about my mother, I struggled with a lot. And something that became, a celebrated part of like my heritage, and I owe my actual life to it. So yeah, it's about sex work.
That's incredible. I wouldn't have known if you hadn't explained it, and I'm really glad you did. I'm also pleased to hear you be at the State House next year. It's where I spend half my time in the winter. So I will see you in those very uptight halls in the winter. But
I'm going to remain neutral on that one because I gotta get along with them.
Yes, yeah.
So they sign the bills we want.
Apparently things go
We
easier.
love you.
So you guys obviously said recorded your first record in February, came out in 2022, came out this year, sorry. Recorded again apart in a treehouse. So in the background you hear like pigeons and ravens like cawing, or was that kind of
There are no pigeons at the treehouse.
No pigeons at the treehouse.
Yeah. There's like
Wolverines.
every other bird, but there's like I've never seen a pigeon at the treehouse.
Chupacabras.
I guess pigeons just kind of hang around cities. But was it all recorded in your respective houses?
Well, your house.
Yeah, it was in part recorded. I live in an attic apartment, which, Montpelier. Yeah.
So, yeah, we kind of just recorded everywhere we could, just trying to like get the little snippets together, and then I mixed it at the treehouse.
Wow, so you got like a whole setup in there?
I have like a microphone.
Okay.
It was really, it was just like every time that we got together, we set it all up. And we had to take it down completely every single time. And there was a lot of like, oh, no, your tea has to move over here. And like, oh, let's move that stand a little bit this way so that we can all cram into one room. There's a lot of, like stepping outside and recording parts.
Yeah.
Getting to just have the headphones on yourself. And just like anytime that there's like harmonies or like licks, we could really just like have the time to do it exactly how we wanted to individually. So we had a lot of like creative control that way. It was really fun.
So you wouldn't do it again in like a recording studio if you album 2 or record 2?
We're hoping to do it in a studio.
We actually just toured a studio today.
Yeah, we did. We looked at a studio in Burlington.
Oh, so this is like up and cut. This is coming soon.
Yeah, we're trying to get the money together, and when we're talking to a studio about working with them to make this basically reproductive freedom EP.
Which we were hoping to get out, before they overturned Roe versus Wade, but then that happened and we were like, well, gotta do it anyway.
Yeah, and we're hoping to use some of the funds raised by the album for to raise money for some sort of
Henry,
like
you know the name?
direct action.
Yeah, there's the Vermont Abortion Fund, and I think that's helpful information just to put out there. It's a resource that you can find easily through Google. The website does not have lots of bells and whistles. This is something that's really controversial, so I think they try to be less assuming in their appearance, but you just slap that right on the Google there. And what they do is if you are in a place of economic hardship and you have decided that carrying to term is not for you, they aid you in funding that procedure, like no red tape, no questions asked.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so
Pretty
we're
rad.
we're hoping to connect with some sort of foundation like that, or maybe that one, and then work it out with the studio and have something in spring.
Oh, Yeah, that's wonderful. So have you got the tracks already together, or are you still kind of working out which was going to go where?
We've
And
got
then-
our basic ones that we're planning on just doing the raw bones ones. You know,
Yeah.
just the meat of them.
Yeah. And then
It would be really great to at some point get to record. We have many songs. We're quite prolific, honestly.
it's true. 3
so-
songwriters, 1 band, you know.
Yeah, right.
It works out.
So that would be nice to get to the all of them at some point. But the main priority right now is just there's like 3 tracks and an acoustic one we would like to get together.
Or no, acapella.
Acapella.
Oh yeah, that's the word.
As all 3 of you live in separate places, is it, and you
Yes.
are all songwriters, is it kind of difficult when you do get together to practice, because it's just like, oh, we've got 23 songs to play tonight that we want to introduce?
We take it
I
one by
feel like-
one.
Yeah, I feel like we're really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we teach each other what we're working on.
Like what we're excited about.
Yeah. And like, you know, the last song that we want to share with you is definitely co-authored. I'd started writing it after a long night smoking a lot of the devil's lettuce and hit a wall, as I often do. I never know how to finish things, and so I brought it to them. And that's, I mean, we're good at the collaborative process. For all
The
intents and
best
purposes.
collaborative process we ever had songwriting was when we were in Alaska.
Yeah.
We went over to, was it an island? Is
It was
or
Douglas
just-
Island.
Yeah, we went to
We
Douglas
went on
Island.
the island and we got some margaritas.
Yeah, they
There's
were
one
like
dozen on an
blueberry.
island. I mean, Dave Matthews kind of sets it out for you, but yeah, margaritas on an island.
Yeah, sitting there and just started writing this song, and you know, these 2 had their verses lickety split. I had to go hide in the bathroom to write mine.
That's true, yeah.
I remember that.
But it was an acapella and it's all stomping. So if you ever catch one of our shows, you can listen out for the song Mama Drinks Rum. We wrote that one all together on an island in Alaska.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So as you've got like your individual kind of songwriting, how often is it that you kind of get halfway through a song, you're like, okay, I need the other 2 to kind of finish this off? And how often is it you kind of like come and you're like, this is my song and this is how you're going to do it and this is how you're going to do it and this is how the song's going to sound?
I feel like every song is so different. You know,
Yeah.
every song I've written, it's never been the same. So
Like a lot of times we'll add things that we never expected when we all get together, you know, or harmonies will kick the song. Like we'll think we didn't have a song, but then you add the harmonies and it's like, actually that is a song. It just really needed a little bit of an oomph.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I often am not like, you do this here. If it's a song I wrote, I'm like, what do you feel like doing on this? You know.
Yeah,
Right.
we're more like
everyone's kind of open to like, everyone just like
Unleashing their creative
following
power.
their-
it's usually more
Wins.
like here are the chords.
yeah.
Like
Get with
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Do it.
Have fun.
yeah.
And you were
Here are the
talking
chords, play 'em or not. You know, just go wild.
Yeah.
not the boss of you. And you did mention about raising funds to get your work recorded, and obviously trying to get it done kind of for free, but kind of as a gift, but you do a lot of you raising your money busking, from what I've
We
seen.
do. We busk a lot.
So I'm really curious, as a busking band or as a band that kind of identifies as a busking band, what is the big differences between just setting up playing on the street and trying to like draw people in, impromptu audience, versus kind of being on a stage, name up and lights, this is your time to play?
The sound is a lot more reliable.
Yeah.
I'm
I,
busking.
Busking.
but I love microphones so much.
I don't know. I love playing on the street.
The street is my favorite place to play personally.
Yeah, it's probably my
we just
favorite
played
place
Church
to-
Street for a few minutes to warm up before coming here. It was great.
True.
Soundtracked a couple suppers.
Yeah.
Got some
Yeah.
applause.
We
Mhm.
did.
I think we made like $10.
Hey.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
What's been your most successful busking day? And then also, has it ever been the case where you 3 have set up and you're just like playing and it starts raining and there's no one there and you're just like
Oh yeah.
sadly
Yeah.
plucking away?
Well, we had a guy recently come over and talk our ear off, but he had given us $100 bill, so we didn't have to listen.
Yeah.
But it was nice to get $100 bill.
That was cool. I liked that.
We've got
part.
that gig in Danville busking. I think all of our busking experiences have been
Oh
pretty
yeah.
fantastic.
Every time we set up, we're just like something like we get some sort of contact. Like someone's like, "Oh, you gotta come." That's how we got that first gig. where the car blew up because we were busking. And they were like, oh, you got to come play our family reunion. And we were like, shh, yeah, let's go, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. I've played a lot of places, and I just really love how you're cutting the middle man when you're busking. You're not like, there's no one in between you and the
It's
music.
revolutionary, really. It's rebellion.
Proletariat.
It's
is what it is,
proletariat.
yeah.
Yes.
I actually,
Taking
I
out the
say that as
petty
a
douche.
joke, but I really, truly believe that. I fully support people making music. I mean, okay, I love getting money for music. And when you're on the street, you do get money. But I love people doing music in a way that, requires nobody else, that requires no Spotify, nothing but your own voice happening right then and there, and another person coming and listening to it. That, in my opinion, can be an act of revolution.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Bringing it back to its core. What it's meant to be about.
It becomes more interconnected. You
So
know?
I would sell out in a minute, you know. But I would like Chumbawamba sell out, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
You will not let Chumbawamba go today.
They're a
love
they're a
Chumbawamba.
great
still thought you
band.
said Oompa
But they're
Loompas.
communist and they're English. So, I mean, like, I'm all in
yeah.
favor of them.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom likes him.
Favorite place to busk?
If we could make it to New Orleans, I would.
In a heartbeat.
My pants. I didn't say it.
There's a busking band in New Orleans called Yes Ma'am, which I don't know if
I
you
know
guys...
that guy.
Oh
I
my
know Tal.
God.
He's a bad man.
It's such... He's a bad man.
No, he wrote a song called Bad Man. And if he
Oh.
were listening to this, he would.
I
I'm
thought you
so
just
sorry.
me hearing him
Oh
right then.
my
I was
God,
like,
no.
you've just
We're not
going to
cancel anybody on your radio show.
His voice
Okay.
is amazing.
It's so good. That guy's so rough and tumble too. We're buds, and his Instagram is pretty lively. You should take a gander if you're ever bored.
So
I
we've got New
really-
Orleans. Any changes from New Orleans?
I just like
possible?
busking close to farmers markets because then you're in proximity to nice vegetables that are really good. And then sometimes farmers will give you vegetables like as tips, and that's like the best when you're tipped in vegetables.
See, now you're cutting out another middleman. Let's not talk,
Well, they have a farmer.
U.S. currency, get out of here. Let's
Yeah,
get paid in
completely.
tomatoes and
Goodbye.
aubergines and stuff. You know?
Bartering is
Yeah.
also an act of
Vegetables
revolution.
are the new Bitcoin.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I also, when we were in Alaska, we busked right in town in Juneau, and the mountain was behind us, and that was pretty stellar because the
Yeah.
whole town is just this little cove. I like Alaska, so if we had our votes, I guess farmers market, New Orleans, Juneau. Downtown.
I would do it back home again too, if the weather would permit. It's a little.
I definitely want to busk in Paris. Gotta be real. I know it's so she,
Oh,
but
yeah.
definitely want to busk in Paris.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sacred Heart.
They're
have to wear
pretty
that
strict
hat.
over there. but-
Oh, absolutely. All the crepes.
I love how many hopes and dreams are coming out of this. I want you to realize all of these. We'll be watching from afar. Before I let you play your last song, where are you playing next, and where can people find you to give you money or vegetables?
Well, a great way to give us money and vegetables is Bandcamp. That's where you can buy the music we have recorded. And if like you don't want to do that, we're also on all of the things like Spotify and all the other ones. And you can follow us on those apps because they don't really give you money, but then if you're followed, it's better somehow. I don't know.
Add us to your playlist.
Yeah, add us to
also.
your playlist, and then we're playing a show in Burlington this weekend with Marxist Jargon. Do you know them?
I do like. do
I
know
got a
Marxist
picture of
Jargons.
them.
Yeah, they
They're-
probably cycled through at some point.
They're really great.
Where are you guys playing?
We are playing at a house. You have to DM Marxist Jargon
It's
for
the
the address.
All right.
I think it's a backyard.
Okay.
So we'll be in a backyard in Burlington this weekend. Just come find us.
That sounds good. I'm gonna search you guys out. What collaborative song have you got to play us out with?
This one's called "Pick Me." It's about Grey's Anatomy.
Accidentally.
it's not. I'm sorry. It's a lie. I'm lying. Okay. That's a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I wanna be queen bee. I'm such a pick me. Wait, no, don't perceive me. I'm such a child. You could be my squeeze just for a week, please. You cannot keep me. I'm such a child. So just pick me. Oh, choose me. Oh, love me. Love me, pick me. Oh, baby, choose me. Choose me, baby. Love me. Love me, baby. Oh, no.
If my fingers shake on your littlest buttons, try not to think that I'm such a child. 'Cause I'll pull your head back till you can't perceive me. You call me up, pick me, clutch me, shut and smile.
So just pick me.
Pick me, baby,
choose me.
choose me, baby.
Love me.
Love me, baby. Oh,
no. Pick me.
pick me, baby, choose me, choose me, baby.
Love me.
Love me, baby.
Oh, no.
Choose me like you'll lose me. Love me. Don't you run from me. Oh, pick me like a daisy. Put me in a glass and save me.
Just pick me.
Pick me, baby.
Choose me.
Choose me,
Oh,
baby.
love me.
Love me, baby. Oh, no.
Pick me.
Pick me, baby.
Choose me.
Choose me, baby.
Love me.
Love me, baby.
Oh, no.
All right, Lavendula playing us out with Pick Me. Guys, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us, Tom.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you so
y'all.
much for having us.
This has been an absolute pleasure. Please come back in when you have that album, or just every other week. That would be great.
Great to see you every other week then.
Yeah. So next week we've got Hannah coming in, but the week after next, thank you, Bob. We've got Hannah coming in, and I've got a week off apparently, and so does Bob. But for now, this has been WOMM LP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I have been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.
Thank you, guys.
That was fun.